Today, Baba gives us a very good reminder that don't forget your godly students. And I was just thinking about this life of a student. So, when you study anything, let's say somebody studies in an engineering college or studies in a medical college or some other college, then they know stuff which other people don't know. Yes, so if you're studying to be an engineer or you're studying to be a doctor, you know many things which your friends, your family don't know. And you know that that is the truth. You know that's what is being taught to you. You have faith in that, and other people around you have no idea about that. Yes, so when you're studying to be a doctor, you are very aware of your physical systems and body and other stuff, and what is good for the body, what is not good for the body, or what is the right way to treat an illness, and what is not the right way to treat an illness. So you know all of that, and other people around you may be doing things very differently. They may not have the same idea as you, and they might be going on with another idea which is very contrary to what you as a doctor know. But then you have faith in what you know. You have faith in that knowledge, and then you live by it, and you preach it, teach it also. So whenever you see somebody doing something that's not okay, then you know that according to medical science, you have the knowledge that this can lead to this result or this kind of a loss. And then you also try to tell that person with a lot of faith and good wish, and also very tactfully. Sometimes you see doctors explaining to lay people, yes, people who are not conversant with the medical language or anything, if they're trying to explain to you why you should do something or shouldn't do something, then it involves a lot of tact also, because they know that they have studied this much and now they are going to give it in a crux. So it requires a lot of tact. And today Baba says that you are godly students, and Baba, the ocean of knowledge, is teaching you. And you know many things, you know everything that the world doesn't know. So, by virtue of being a godly student, you know the three aspects of time. You know that this Bharat was paradise. You know, you recognize vices. Yes, people in the world have no idea that lust is the greatest enemy, Kam Mahashatru. They don't know. They don't know that when you engage in lust, you give away your spiritual power, the power to experience happiness and bliss to your physical senses. They don't know all that. They don't know what anger or attachment can do to you. Attachment makes you a slave. You were born to be a master. Yes, so you were the master of the world and now you are a slave. And attachment has made you think that you cannot experience happiness, you cannot experience peace if the person you are attached to doesn't behave your way. Correct? So, all these ideas. So you know what attachment is doing to you. You know what lust is doing to you. You understand that vices are vices. People don't think that ego has to be won over. They think that it's good that you have favorable circumstances which feed your ego. So people are always in the quest to create situations and circumstances in which the ego can be fed well. But here Baba says that when you are egoistic, you give away your power to a position or a behavior or anybody to make you feel what you can feel on your own. So you are a soul and you have the capacity to create your own feelings, but you're creating a slave out of yourself by these vices. And it is interesting that when we talk about deities, Baba says, I'm making you the king of kings. So, Rajaon ka Raja, in the Gita it is written that Raj Yoga makes you the Rajaon ka Raja. And what have we become today? We have become slaves ka bhi slaves. Yes, so we have become the slave of our senses. We have become slave of the five elements. We have become the slave of those who were meant to serve us. And from this situation, Baba is trying to uplift us and make us the Rajaon ka Raja, the master of the world. And Baba says that now you know a lot of stuff which nobody else knows because you are godly students. And you must have faith because whenever somebody is a student, that student life requires faith because you study new things as a student, and it's not just about this godly life, but in any life you always study new things as a student. Yes, so if you are an investment banker, if you are some other person, so you know stuff which nobody else knows, and you have faith in that, and other people don't have. Some people don't have any idea about what you do, what you think, why you do what you do, but you believe in your knowledge. You believe in the truth of that knowledge and you live by it. Yes, and then you have so much faith that you don't flinch in telling other people. So, you know that if I'm a doctor, I know more than other people who are not doctors about the body. Similarly, Baba says, you are a godly student, and Baba is telling us new knowledge which nobody else in the world knows, and this new knowledge is for the new world. And in the world, nobody else is aware of it, but you must have faith that this is new knowledge for the new world. And you must practice it, and also very tactfully, very sweetly preach it, teach it to other people. So you need a lot of tact to put forth that which you know and the other person doesn't know, so that it is so simple, it is so easy to understand that the other person also gets it. Yes, so that's why when we explain knowledge, we don't do it very directly. So you know that lust is the greatest enemy. You know that one person has to get over attachment and ego. But you just don't go and tell that directly. You explain it very tactfully. And then Baba uses many adjectives today, but the main ones are, one is you have to buzz the knowledge. So you have to buzz the knowledge in other people's ears. Second is you have to do it tactfully because you cannot be direct and upfront. You have to use some tact in it. Third is you have to be very sweet because in sweetness, even when when you get medicines, most medicines which are very bitter are mixed with sweet stuff and then given to you. So this is medicine which is very healing. So if you follow Baba's Shrimat, it is like the medicine which will heal you for 21 births. But the medicine doesn't go down the throat very easily because we have been slaves of vices for so long. So then you have to give this medicine very, very sweetly. If you're very harsh about it, if you're very emphatic about it, sometimes, the other person cannot get it. So it has to be very, very sweet. And then Baba says, you have to have a lot of power. The Shakti army has to have a lot of power in itself, because when you are speaking about this knowledge which is so powerful and which makes powerful, you should have the dharana of that knowledge and that power of being an embodiment of that knowledge. So this is what Baba talks about, godly knowledge. And then today Baba many times repeats that lust is the greatest enemy. So Baba says, you first imbibe this, you have full faith in it, and then you can sit with your spouse and explain to them that you see that if I embrace purity right now, then I will become the master of the world. And if you also cooperate with me, then we can go hand in hand into heaven. And I think this is not the time to think too much about leaving lust. And Baba says that when it is war time, they will have faith in what you say. Because when there is war, people don't think about lust. Yes, they know that this is not the time for that. So you can also explain, see, the circumstances today are such that they are helping you imbibe, and Baba is talking about the drama helping you explain knowledge. And Baba says that if you explain tactfully that now if you cooperate with me, I and you both can go to heaven hand in hand. And why should I leave the inheritance of 21 births for this small vice? So Baba says, and if you always explain with love in this manner, then their bones will soften and they will start getting what you're saying. So Baba says that this is the method to, when you have firm faith in what you're saying and you have firm faith in godly teaching, then you can explain with that faith, with that good wish, and the other person will also get it. So this is something that Baba says. And then Baba tells about the Kumaris. So those who are still not trapped in the vice of lust, Baba says the Kumaris should beware of bad company. Yes, because it is when you have not fallen into the trap of the vice of lust, it is bad company which inspires you to do that, or which provokes you to do that. Whether it is company of the people who are lustful, or the company of what you see, what you hear. So Baba always gives his example that as a child he was very religious minded, but he saw a bioscope. So, something like a movie these days. So earlier it used to be a small window and then people used to see a film inside the window. And then Baba says that's where he got that's where he started thinking about family life and the happiness of family life. And then he started, so that's where the journey of lust began. So this company of things, of scenes, of circumstances which provoke lust, they are responsible for this, this vicious desire. So Baba says you must be very careful of bad company. And then today Baba talks about attachment. So today Baba says, sweet children, have true love for the one Father. Follow his Shrimat, and this will break your attachment away from all your friends and relatives. Now you see, in the essence, Baba is giving us a method to break our attachment from friends and relatives. But you will be interested in the method only when you have that aim. So in this world, people are trying to be attached. Yes, they are not trying to break attachment from friends and relatives. But Baba says, now that you have this godly knowledge, your aim shifts, that you want to be attachment free. Do you want to be attachment free? You listen to knowledge every day. So you have to ask yourself deeply whether you have arrived at that place where you understand that attachment is a vice and that you want to break free from attachment with friends and family. And then you see that when I realize that in the new world there is no attachment, so we live with everybody, but we are not dependent on anybody for our emotional sustenance. We are free to create our own feelings, and we are not dependent on anybody to allow us or to make us feel a certain way. An attachment makes us a slave. Yes, a slave where the other person's state, behavior determines whether I feel a certain way. Yes. So Baba says, now you understand that you want to be the master, you don't want to be the slave anymore. So you don't want to be attached. But detachment doesn't mean dissociation. It doesn't mean, Baba today says that it doesn't mean that you don't take care of your children. It doesn't mean that you're not respectful or loveful. You are everything, but you are not attached. And the method to do that is have true love for the one Father. And when you have true love for the one Father, so first thing is, why should you have true love for the one Father? So you should have true love for the one Father because the Father is giving you all that you are seeking from others. Yes, so in the world we are, so when you fall in love, what do? You go and tell the other person, I love you immediately. Why? Because you want that person to feed you whatever you need now. So you need sweet words, you need support, you need respect, you need cooperation, you need sensual pleasure, and then you want that person to agree and come into the contract of giving you all of that. And that's why it's so necessary to go and announce your love as soon as you feel it, because so when you are in love, you go and tell that person that I like you as my lunch and you have to allow me to eat you up and fill my stomach. So that's how love proceeds. But the thing is, what you need, even if that person allows you to feed on themselves, your thirst and your hunger cannot be quenched, because your thirst and your hunger is spiritual, and that soul at the other end is also a depleted soul. So they can give you their body, they can give you, they can tell you the words you want to hear, they can do, most people do it for you, but then still you are empty, you don't feel full, because your need is spiritual and they themselves are spiritually depleted, so they cannot give you what you really need. And if you look at it in the world, you see every child has one set of parents, two people who love him or love her, right? So every child is born with a mother and a father, and they love the child, and then that love is not enough. And then you look for a relationship outside of that fact. So then you have siblings also, and their love is also not enough. And then you try finding another person who will become your spouse and love you that way, and then that person is not enough. And then you think that if you have a child, then that child's love will be sufficient, but even that is not enough. And then in the end also, people are cribbing about how they didn't have love. So Baba says, even if you are seeking what you are seeking from human beings, you will always be left empty. And that's why there is so much attachment, because it doesn't fill you. Yesterday, I was also discussing this, that you are always left empty, and that is why you always keep seeking and always keep getting attached. And then Baba says, you must have true love for me, because honestly, I'm going to fulfill all that you have ever needed and sought. So the soul needs knowledge, purity, peace, love, happiness, bliss, and power. And Baba says, if you listen to the Murli and you make a connection with me the way I tell you in the Murli. So there are various physical disciplines, there are various disciplines of the mind, there are various Shrimad that I give you, and that Shrimad will help you forge a relationship with me, and that relationship will allow you to receive my energy. And when you do that, then you will be completely full. And when you're full, then you will break away from attachment. So being detached is not about wanting to be detached. It's about a state of fullness where you're not needy. So when you're not needy, you will be with everybody but not be attached. When you're very needy, you are with everybody and you are attached. So Baba says, when you have true love for me, you will be full, you will feel complete, and then you can be with 1,000 people and be very caring, have a sense of belonging, have respect, have love, but you will not be attached to them. And Baba today says that when you say, so there are many children who say that I want to be detached. But Baba says you must have a lot of honesty and cleanliness inside you. So let me read those lines to you. Baba says, you should have clean hearts. Only when your intellects are firmly connected in yoga with the one Father can they be broken away from others. You should have the firm faith that you have to belong to the one Father and follow his directions. So it's not like, it's no cheating will be entertained here. Because sometimes, people have, so I have seen So, when you are in college, you play these tricks that you tell somebody that I have no interest in you so that you can invite more interest from them. So sometimes when children come to Baba, they also play these games. So they are very interested that their spouse or their children should be attached to them. So they play these games and say that now I have no interest in the world and now I belong to Baba. But in their heart, they want them to be very attached to them. So Baba says, you must check your heart. And do you really have firm faith that I belong to one Baba? Because sometimes we play these mind games not only with others, but with ourselves also. Yes, so I have seen people, you have a fight at home and suddenly you are a very good yogi and you have firm faith in Baba and there is only Baba, Baba all day. But that's because you don't want that other person to know that you're pining for them, not because you are genuinely in love with Baba. So this kind of, dishonest behavior won't do. So Baba says you have to check in your heart whether really you have faith that I am a soul and I belong to Baba. And you see that in the Gita, in the 18th chapter, the last chapter of Gita, the aim object given is Nashto Moha Smriti Swarup. So it means that when all your attachments are gone away, you break free from all your attachments, then you will come back to self-realization. Now, we cannot cheat ourselves in this quest for breaking free from attachment. So Baba says you must have honesty that you really want to break free from attachment and you understand that I am a soul and I belong to Baba. Because this is not, so Baba is real, this knowledge is real, and this aim objective is real. All of this is not for us to play games with each other and with ourselves. So this is not to be taken lightly. And Baba says, when you're free from attachment, you will settle your karmic accounts. So there are so many karmic accounts which we have created by being vicious. And now when you're free from attachment, when you're full, then things will come your way, people will come your way, and you will serve them. You will do the needful, not have expectations, and that's how those karmic accounts will go away. So, whenever you feel there is a bondage, then the karmic account is not getting settled. And when you're free from attachment, and there is this deep feeling that everything is seva. So, somebody coming and taking your time and attention is seva. And you have this feeling that I'm getting not drained by doing that, but nourished by doing that. Because there is no feeling of bondage, there is no expectations. Then that's the way you keep settling your karmic accounts, your sinful actions. Yes, so you see that there are so many souls who come to Baba's house and then they come with their whole baggage. They have a lot, they have their own energy field, they are in sorrow, hurt, everything. And then when Baba's children are sitting in combination with Baba, in communion with Baba, and giving them what Baba wants to give them, then they also get recharged. And on the other hand, if a similar situation takes place in another setting, in a family setting, then that person says that I feel very burdened why this person comes with so much baggage to me, and every time they don't have good stories to tell, all the time, cribbing, complaining about something. So that happens because we are not free from attachment, we are not free from expectations, our own energy field is not high. So Baba says, once you have true love for Baba and you draw strength and power from Baba, then you feel so full inside of yourself that whenever something comes before you, you look at it as seva, you serve, do the needful, and then it goes away. And this is how you settle your karmic accounts. So Baba says, you first have to come to a place where there is no attachment. Then after that starts the process of settling karmic accounts, and only then you can go back home. So Baba says, don't take time, don't waste too much time, don't take long to come to this place where you're free from attachment. So this is something. And then I will like to read the blessing to you today. Baba says in the blessing, an elevated effort maker is one who transforms wrong into right in a second with his controlling power. Let it not be that you wish to control your wastefulness, that you understand something to be wrong, but it continues for another half an hour. This is known as being partly dependent and partly having a right. When you understand that something is not right, that it is inaccurate and wasteful, you should apply a brake at that moment. This is elevated effort. Controlling power does not mean that you apply a brake at one point, but it only takes effect after some distance. So there was this Kanya who had come to the center, and she's a student, and she said that sometimes I waste 4 or 5 hours and don't study, and then after that I feel very, very guilty. And sometimes it's the evening time, so from 5 onwards I'm just doing something or the other and not studying. And then when it is 10 o'clock, I realize, and then I'm very guilty, and I'm not able to sleep after that. And I feel like I've wasted my time, and what is this good for? So then she said, what should I do in these situations? So I said, when you realize at 10 o'clock that I wasted my time, instead of wasting it further, why don't you sit and study? So she said at 10 o'clock. So I said 5 was not a good time, 10 is not a good time. Why do you keep looking at the clock? Anyways, you're not able to study with guilt. So why not just study? So half our life is spent in making the mistake, and another half of it is spent in feeling guilty about the mistake. Right? We keep doing this. And then Baba says that when you've made a mistake, when you realize that, okay, I wasted my time, I did this or that. And do you know that guilt is an aspect of ego? Guilt is an aspect of ego. Because when you start feeling guilty, what's the first sentence that comes to me? How could I do this? Now you see, when you were doing it, you were pretty happy about it. But now your ego is getting hurt and you want to feel bigger and you don't even want to accept that you did it. How could I do this? I'm such a saint. And how could I do this? And there are many things you're doing every day, and still, in your mind, you're such a saint that you don't accept it. So, Baba says that when you have made a mistake, so you have to accept yourself in your totality. I'm a deity soul. I'm capable, fully capable of correcting my mistakes and going back to my deity self. And right now, because I've had 63 births of sinful life, so there are many mistakes that take place, but then I have the power to correct them and go back to my former self. This is knowledge. So Baba says, now that you're knowledgeful, first things first, don't make a mistake. Yes, be knowledgeful and come into action. But if, let's say, there was a mistake, then as soon as you recognize it, realize it, correct it. Even if the mistake was at the level of a thought, it was a word, it was some act that you did, Baba says, you have controlling power, that you don't keep thinking about what you did, but just correct it that same moment. And Baba says, you must have this Swaman, that I am a very powerful soul, child of the Almighty, and even if my old sanskars have made me do something, I can correct it here and now in the moment. And Baba says, this is called elevated effort. Elevated effort doesn't mean that you will never make a mistake. So sometimes, even if you're trying your best, there could be a mistake. But then you set it right the moment you realize that mistake was made, and that's elevated effort. And when you exercise your controlling power, controlling your thoughts, changing it the moment you realize it, controlling your words, if your words have been inappropriate, turning it around in 1 second. If there is some action which you're engaging in and midway you realize, you just turn it around at that very moment. That's called controlling power. And this is the power which will help us progress. And we will be in a stage where we will not make mistakes very soon. So Baba says, this is controlling power and you must have it, and it shouldn't be that you try to apply a brake at one point and then it only takes effect after a distance. Think about a physical brake. If you try to apply it here and you are successful there, then midway you will have so many accidents. So Baba says, if you want to apply a brake to your thought, word and action, then you will be able to, stop the damage from being done. And whenever you want to apply the brake, you should be able to apply it. Okay, so this is Baba's Murli today. Om Shanti. Let's thank Baba for some time.